Hello, everyone, and welcome to the channel. Welcome to the Conservative Poet with me, Amanya. I am so glad that you're here with me today, and I just want to say thank you to all the new subscribers. It's been awesome. Thank you, guys. So let's jump into the video. Today we are covering my trip to Tallahassee to inaugurate our great governor, the people's governor, Ron DeSantis. If you're interested in seeing that, then let's go. So this was my first time in Tallahassee. I mean, I've driven up and down, through it many times, but this was my first time in the capital. And when I tell you, I had a good time, it was a great time. I was with patriots, people loving Florida, people who loved our great governor. It was a time of fellowship and learning. And boy, did I learn a lot. It was wonderful. I got a chance to have meetings with some of our legislators in reference to some bills that we are looking at down here on the grassroots, things that we're looking for the legislatures to legislate on, to do their job. We're going to hold them accountable. So it was great to be down there to see them setting up, especially some of the freshmen that we got in. It was great to be in their office, to watch them set up, getting themselves together for the session, for the next session. So I also had a chance to go to the inaugural. I was outside by the time we had so many meetings in the morning, and by the time we got to the actual festivities, the place was crowded and we had to stay out on the street, but it was okay. They had a nice big old jumbo screen there. I was able to watch it from there, and I recorded a lot of the screen, and I know a lot of you probably have already seen it, but this is what my video is going to be about. So my experience out there in Tallahassee on the ground. And I'm also going to have a second video where I go into the museum, which is the old Capitol before they built this new one, which is about 20 years old now. So I didn't even make it through the whole thing. I only made it. It has several different levels. So there's governor, there's the Senate, and then the House and things upstairs. I never made it out there. I only was in the governor. So that means I have to take another trip to Tallahassee just to go through the museum and see all of the great history of our state. So I may break into the video going forward and just come in with a couple of thoughts, but it's really going to be about me and my experience out there on the ground, live and in effect. You know how I like it. So thanks again for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. All right. Thank you.
Madison, Mason, and Mamie DeSantis.
I was so taken by the sight of the whole family up there. Our great First Lady, Casey DeSantis, she was beautiful in her gown. The children, it was just a wonderful, wonderful thing to see. And they look presidential. So I'm not on Team DeSantis for president in 2024. I'm all in for 2028. But how presidential did the family look? Wow. Very, very nice. Very proud of them and proud to be in Florida for such a great moment in our history.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. To offer our invitation, please welcome from Grace Baptist Church, Pastor Tom Askell of Cape Coral.
Join with me as we go to our great God in prayer. Our Father in heaven, we bow to you today on this momentous occasion because you alone are God. You're the creator and sustainer of all things, visible and invisible. You are sovereign, and through your Son, Jesus Christ, you rule and overrule in all the affairs of life. We thank you for your great love for people whom you have made in your own image. And we confess that we have not lived as we ought. We've sinned against you. But we also confess that with you there is mercy that you may be feared. Thank you for delivering up your Son to be the Savior of the world. We also thank you for the provisions that you have made for us to pursue liberty, joy, and justice in your world, and for instituting government and all governing authorities for our well-being. In your wisdom, goodness, and power, you have once again established Governor DeSantis to serve the people of Florida by carrying out his responsibilities in ways that will be good for us. We thank you for all the wonderful things that have been accomplished in his first term.
And I just love that Ron DeSantis and the whole family, I'm just so happy that they put God first. Without God, you can't do anything. And I just love to see that in this leader, that he actually goes to the Father, that he put God first. You know, it's wonderful to see. He's a great, strong, capable human being. And with God on his side, he can conquer. He can do all things. My God, isn't that a wonderful thing? We love Ron DeSantis because he loves God.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad strokes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we've watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red leather bones bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Felix Rodriguez, recipient of the Governor's Medal of Freedom.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the
oh boy. Oh.
and to the republic for which it stands, indivisible, as a nation with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
You know, that poor man, I really believe the DeSantis team really dropped the ball with this man, because this is an older person. And English is obviously not his first language. They should have been better prepared. They should have had his script and everything prepared for him. It was really sad to watch him struggle trying to say the pledge. It was just really, really bad. I think people were trying to, pull him along, but it was just really, really shameful. And I think the governor was probably ashamed as well. His people really dropped the ball when it came to this gentleman and him addressing the state and doing the pledge. It was just not a good look. It was really bad.
After me, I, Ron DeSantis,
do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
the
Constitution and government of the United States and of the state of Florida, that I am duly qualified to hold office under the Constitution of the state, and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of governor on which I am now about to enter. So help me God.
So help me God.
What in the world? What is that?
Look at the canvas. Only do 7, I think, instead of 21. I just wonder.
Mr. Chief Justice, members of the Cabinet, and fellow citizens, from the Space Coast to the Sun Coast, from St. John's to St. Lucie, from the streets of Hialeah to the Speedway in Daytona, from the Okeechobee all the way up to Micanopy, freedom lives here in our great It lives in the courage of those who patrol the streets and who keep our communities safe. It lives in the industry of those who work long hours to earn a living and raise their families. It lives in the dedication of those who teach our children. It lives in the determination of those who grow our food. It lives in the wisdom of our senior citizens. It lives in the dreams of the historic number of families who have moved from states across this country. We have, through persistence and hard work, executed on that vision. We have produced favorable results. And now we are here today because the people of Florida have validated our efforts in record fashion. Florida shows that results matter. We lead not by mere words, but by deeds. 4 years ago, we promised to pursue a bold agenda. We did just that, and we have produced results. We said we would ensure that Florida taxed lightly, regulated reasonably, and spent conservatively, and we delivered. We promised we would enact big education reforms, and we delivered. We said we would end judicial activism by appointing jurists who understand the proper role of a judge is to apply the law as written, not legislate from the bench, and we delivered. We promised to usher in a new era of stewardship for Florida's natural resources by promoting water quality and Everglades restoration efforts, and we delivered. We promised to remedy deficiencies in Florida's election administration and to hold wayward officials accountable, and we delivered. We said we would support the areas in Northwest Florida stricken by Hurricane Michael, and we delivered.
Wow. That push.
And when Hurricane Ian came last year, the state coordinated a massive mobilization of response personnel, facilitated the fastest power restoration on record, and even quickly rebuilt key bridges that had been wiped out by the storm. We have stood by the people of Southwest Florida, and we will continue to do so in the weeks, months, and years ahead. Because of these efforts and others, Florida is leading the nation.
That's right.
We are number one in these United States in net in-migration. We are the nation's fastest growing state. We are number one in new business formations. We are number one in tourism. We are number one in economic freedom. We rank number one in education freedom. And we rank number one in parental involvement in education. Florida also ranks number one in public higher education. This is a record we can all be proud of. But we're far from done. Florida's accumulated a record budget surplus, and we need to enact record tax relief, particularly for Florida families who are grappling with inflation. We must ensure school systems are responsive to parents and to students, not partisan interest groups. And we must ensure that our institutions of higher learning are focused on academic excellence and the pursuit of truth, not the imposition of trendy ideologies. Florida must always be a great place to raise a family. We will enact more family-friendly policies to make it easier to raise children, and we will defend our children against those who seek to rob them of their innocence.
Woo! Woo! Yes, yes, yes. That's why we love him. Right?
Amen. Amen.
That's it. On your feet. That's right.
We will always remain a law and order state. We will always support law enforcement, and we will always reject soft on crime policies that put our communities at risk. Florida is now in a golden era for conservation of our treasured natural resources. Our momentum is strong, and we will finish what we started. We will leave Florida to God better than we found it. This much we pledge and so much more. Now, it's often said that our federalist constitutional system, with 50 states able to pursue their own unique policies, represents a laboratory of democracy. Well, these last few years have witnessed a great test of governing philosophies, as many jurisdictions pursued a much different path than we have pursued here in the state of Florida. The policies pursued by these states have sparked a mass exodus of productive Americans from these jurisdictions, with Florida serving as the most desired destination, a promised land of sanity. Many of these cities and states have embraced faddish ideology at the expense of enduring principles. They've harmed public safety by coddling criminals and attacking law enforcement. They've imposed unreasonable burdens on taxpayers to finance unfathomable levels of public spending. They have harmed education by subordinating the interests of students and parents to partisan interest groups. They have imposed medical authoritarianism in the guise of pandemic mandates and restrictions that lack a scientific basis. This bizarre but prevalent ideology that permeates these policy measures purports to act in the name of justice for the marginalized, but it frowns upon American institutions. It rejects merit and achievement, and it advocates identity essentialism. We reject this woke ideology.
That's right!
We seek normalcy, not philosophical lunacy. We will not allow reality, facts, and truth to become optional. We will never surrender to the woke mob. Florida is where woke goes to die.
That's it!
Now, Florida's success has been made more difficult by the floundering federal establishment in Washington, D.C. Federal government has gone on an inflationary spending binge that has left our nation weaker and our citizens poorer. It has enacted pandemic restrictions and mandates based more on ideology and politics than on sound science, and this has eroded freedom and stunted commerce. It has recklessly facilitated open borders, making a mockery of the rule of law, allowing massive amounts of narcotics to infect our states, importing criminal aliens, and greenlighting the flow of millions of illegal aliens into our country, burdening communities and taxpayers throughout the land. It has imposed an energy policy that has crippled our nation's domestic production, causing energy to cost more for our citizens and eroding our nation's energy security and, in the process, our national security. It wields its authority through a sprawling, unaccountable, and out-of-touch bureaucracy that does not act on behalf of us, but instead looms over us and imposes its will upon us. The results of this have been predictably dismal. This has caused many to be pessimistic about the country's future. Some even say that failure is inevitable. Florida is proof positive that we, the people, are not destined for failure. Decline is a choice. Success is attainable. and freedom is worth fighting for. Now, fighting for freedom is not always easy because the threats to freedom are more complex and more widespread than they have been in the past. The threats can come from entrenched bureaucrats in D.C., jet setters in Davos, and corporations wielding public power. But fight we must. We embrace our founding creed that our rights are not granted by the courtesy of the state, but are endowed by the hand of the Almighty.
That's right.
We reject the idea that self-government can be subcontracted out to technocratic elites who reduce human beings to mere data points. We insist on the restoration of time-tested constitutional principles so that government of, by, and for the people shall not perish from this earth. Florida has led the way in preserving what the father of our country called the sacred fire of liberty. It is the fire that burned in Independence Hall when 56 men pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor to establish a new nation conceived in liberty. It's the fire that burned at a cemetery in Gettysburg when the nation's first Republican president pledged to this nation a new birth of freedom. It's the fire that burned among the boys who stormed the beaches of Normandy to liberate a continent and to preserve freedom for the world. It's the fire that infused the young preacher's dream, relayed at the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, that the Declaration of Independence said what it meant and meant what it said. All men are created equal. It is the fire that led a resolute president to stand in Berlin and declare, "Tear down this wall," staring down the communists and winning the Cold War. It is our responsibility here in Florida to carry this torch. We do not run from this responsibility. We welcome it. We will be on our guard. We will stand firm in the faith. We will be courageous. We will be strong. And we thank God and are proud to be citizens of the great free state of Florida. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this state and everybody throughout the land.
Yeah, he means business. He means business.
That speech, I mean, the crowd was on fire. People were just clapping and cheering and talking in the background. It was just an amazing speech. The tone of him, his character, and the way he displayed everything. I mean, it again, presidential, but not now, please, not now, 2028. But yeah, he took on the role, that leadership. He is just amazing, and we love him. And he went on. You heard him. He went on about the things that he's done, the things that he's going to do, the plans that he has. And, you know, it's just going to be an exciting couple of years. And if he does decide to run, then it's going to be an exciting race. And we'll see how it all goes. But, you know, we are all for Ron DeSantis and the great things that he does. So thank you all for taking the time and going through this video with me. It was just such a great pleasure to be in Tallahassee, to be on the ground and just be in the room. So I just want to thank you all. That's going to be it for the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And let me know if you made it out there, if you were out there. I'd love to hear if you were, and what was your experience like, you know, if you were out there. All right. So thanks again. You take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, and by the way, we've got souls to save.